Hi everyone, my name is Brenda, and in this video I will show you how to use the GitHub desktop application. If you don't already have that downloaded, you can go to desktop.github.com and download the desktop application that applies to you. When you open it, you can go to preferences, and in appearance you can pick whether you want the light version or the dark version. We're also not logged in, so I'm going to log in myself. You should do the same. If you don't have a GitHub account, you can go ahead and create one. Type in your username, your password. I also have two-factor authentication, which is basically just another safety mechanism for keeping my account secure. You should probably do the same, and in my case I have it set up so that it sends me a text message with a code that I can then enter and sign in. Now this code is always different, so you have to make sure you have your phone next to you. So to start, when there's different options, as you can see here, there might be a case where you're starting a new project and you want to create a completely new repository. Then it could be a situation where you already have a folder containing your project, and then you want to push that to GitHub, or there is a repository in GitHub that you want to clone locally so you can work on it yourself. So in our case, we're going to create a new repository, and I'm just going to call this test repo, and I'm going to say that this is a test repo. I'm going to put it in this folder in my local computer. I will also initialize this README. It is recommended. Usually you will have a description of your project here. If you've taken a look at any other person's work on GitHub, you'll see that most people will have this document, and it's the first page that you see in a GitHub repository describing, things about the project. So I'll say yes to that. I don't need to ignore anything. Sometimes you want to ignore certain files or folders in your repositories. For instance, if you're using Node and you want to ignore the Node modules folder where all the libraries, all the packages are being saved to, you could do that by adding that onto your gitignore file. But we're not going to do that. So I'm just going to hit create. So now we have this folder, because that's basically what it is. This repository is a folder, and if I now want to start working in this folder, there's different things that you can do in your folder. You can add files, you can edit files, you can do all sorts of things. I believe I already have my first commit because I created this repository. So my initial commit is already there. So I can actually publish this to GitHub. So let's try that. I guess so I can show you my repository, and we can try to find something that's called test repo, and there's nothing. So that means it doesn't exist. So I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to push this repository. Same name, same description. Don't need this code to be private, and there's no organization. So I'm just going to publish this. Okay. So now I should be able to find it here. There we go. Test repo. So if you remember, This is the README file, and this is the description I gave it. This is a test repo. So let's say that I wanted to add on to my test repo, maybe change this. So the extension of this file is Markdown. So there's a certain type of syntax that you can use to create these MD files. So you usually end with MD. And first is like if you have a hash space some text, that becomes a header, and there's headers of different sizes. So let's suppose we were trying to edit our MD file to say something different. And here's the README. You can see it says test repo. So then we can say here this repository. Okay. And so now this has been added to my file locally, but this file over here in GitHub doesn't know anything about it. So now what I can do here in the desktop, the GitHub desktop app, is it's saying that I have one change made. It's been done to this particular file. And so if I want to save this and push it to GitHub so I can track this change, I can add a summary, which is required. Update to README file. Added additional information. And then you say commit to master. And once you do that, it will tell you there are no changed files. In your history, you will have your second commit. So now you can push this to your master branch. So now if we refresh this page, you can see this repo was created to learn how to use GitHub's desktop app. So let's try adding another file. Let's see. We're gonna call this okay. Let's just add some text. I'm gonna save this as just a text file, sample.txt, and actually I'm gonna say something different. This text is for testing only. Save that. So now if I go back over here to my desktop app, it will say I have added this new file. And I'm gonna add it. Say added new file with sample text. Commit to master, push. Okay. So now you can see my sample text is right here. Now let's say that I don't want that file anymore. I want to delete it. So I want to delete it. Okay. So now it's going to say here that TI has this little symbol with the minus. That means that I deleted this file. So say deleted file. commit to master, push. Okay. And so now we will see that this file will no longer be there when we refresh. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Of course, I'm only using the text editor to add and remove text or text files. But if you were working in Android Studio, you would basically just select the option to push a local repository to GitHub, or if you haven't even started, you can create a new repository and then open it in Android Studio and start working on it there. So hopefully this will give you a good idea of how to work with a desktop app. I will have another video where I will go over how to use the terminal and then how to use the terminal to push to GitHub, and you'll be more productive. Thanks for watching.